for the regular township. Thank you. For August the 9th to order, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, Danielle, do you want to take roll call?
Yes, 1 moment.
Okay.
Okay. Palma,
Here.
Matt,
Present.
Mazzarelli,
Here.
Christopher,
Here.
Mills is absent.
She's excused. Yep. Okay. So everybody received a copy of the agenda from the previous meeting of July the 12th. And if so, are there any questions or comments on it? If not, a motion would be in order to approve as submitted.
The only thing I would say is maybe we should put this on. This is for the Oakland County MTA chapter meeting, for anybody who wants to attend. So it just came in today.
Yeah, you know, they've been sending it to everybody, but they didn't say anything about any guest speaker or topic of discussion or anything. And I'm not, anybody can go if you want, but I'm just apprehensive to go if it's just a.
Yeah, they
sit
have
around
a
and-
group that's every month.
Yeah, you know, so it's up to you. I think Teresa is going, I think. Okay, so everybody has a copy of that now, right?
Yep,
Okay,
yes,
so
they do.
So Patty, you want to include that as part of?
the agenda for today?
Yeah, we can add it onto the agenda.
Okay.
Make it G. We'll just Oakland County MTA chapter meeting.
All righty.
I'll make a motion to approve last month's agenda.
Minutes.
Minutes.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments on them? If not, a second is in order
I'll second it.
by Mazzarelli. Okay, any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it's done. And that gets to the approval for today's agenda. We just did that and added Oakland County. Okay, there's also the fire board meeting and a special board meeting minutes from July the 12th for the fire board and a special board meeting on July the 19th that needs to be approved. The July 19th one was just to approve the funding for Chief Mason to pick up the new ladder truck.
I'll motion to approve the minutes of the special board meeting July 19th as submitted.
Is there a second to that?
As well as the fire board minutes. Second.
Okay, so, okay, any other questions or comments from the board? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, they're done. Moving right along. Financials, Patty, you want to go over the budget amendments for today?
Yes, we have two budget amendments. The first one is there's going to be an election for the Brandon Schools bond proposal. So we need, my motion is to move $7,000 from capital outlay reserve township into special and school expenses. 101-262-726-010. That's my motion. The money will be reimbursed by the school district.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Jim, okay. Any questions or comments? It is for money, so Danielle, would you take a roll call on it?
Sure. Bob Thomas,
Yes.
Patty Back,
Yes,
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Jean Mazzarelli. Yes.
Is there another one, Patty?
yes. The second budget amendment is for the fire department for $245,000, $245,430. Am I still saying that right?
Your budget's looking a lot better this morning, Chief.
$245,439. There we go. And that will be, come from the fire fund balance into fire capital outlay reserve. This is to cover the pension shortage.
That we
shortfall
approved last month.
That we approved last month, yes.
Support.
That's all I have
Okay.
on the budget
There
amendment.
no other questions or comments? Danielle, if you take a roll call on it?
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Musarelli. Yes. Bob DiPalma.
Yes,
Ed Beck.
Yes.
that's it, I think, the budget amendments, right?
Yep.
Okay. Next is accounts payable. Patty, you want to cover that?
Yep, in 101 for the month, it was $14,024.49. 701 was, the amount paid out of there was $1,040.84 for a total of $15,065.33. The 701 account, again, that's our trust and agency account where people come in and money's held there, and when newspaper legals come in and need to be paid for whatever they're doing, it's paid out of those funds. Then fire in 206, $13,505.07. That's the accounts payables for the month.
Okay,
So my motion is we accept the accounts payables as presented.
okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
By Jim Christopher. Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Danielle, roll call, please.
Gina Musarelli. Yes. Bob DiPalma.
Yes.
Ed Beck.
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Okay, and we have all of the reports, because Teresa's excused for tonight, for the various departments. I didn't see anything. Is there anything anybody had any questions on? They look pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next, of course, is the financial report, and you should have that from Teresa as well. She always gives us the 3 months running, and she's done it again here, and things look pretty good shape here. The end of balance for July cash on hand is about just under 8.5 million. So are there any questions from anybody on it? Pretty run-of-the-mill stuff right now. Okay. Next would be, there's nothing for presentations, nothing for public hearings, nothing for unfinished business. So the next item on the agenda is the Consumers Energy Lighting Contract Resolution. And this is for something that kind of lingered from last year. We were going to fix the traffic light over at Holdridge and Dixie, and they needed this contract and our approval to do it. And somehow I don't think it ever got done, so they sent it to us anyway, and that's what it's for, to make the lighting improvements there, to go to LED lighting. So we need a motion to approve the contract and resolution for Consumers Energy for the Holdridge Road lighting project.
I did have a question.
Sure.
It's estimated cost is totally blank. So did they give you an estimate, or will be? Or does, I mean, I know it needs to be done.
Actually, I don't think there is a cost for this one.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I should have probably double checked it, because I know I talked to Janelle when we
Okay.
did this, because it's right by where she lives, but
Right, right.
I don't think there's actually a cost on this one. Okay. Okay, if there's a motion to approve the contract.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to approve the contract
Okay.
with Consumers Energy to replace the lighting.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, let's just do it on a roll call anyway, Danielle, okay?
Sure. Bob DiPalma.
Yes.
Ed Beck.
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Gina Musarelli. Yes.
Okay, the next one is the heart scanner and touch writer maintenance. Patty, that one's yours?
These, this is on the election equipment for their service renewal and maintenance for years 6 to 10, and the total is $14,701.80. And that will cover 1 Verity scan, 4 Verity scans, and 3 Verity touch writers. So we basically, this needs to be done. Their Hart's the only one that works on these machines. So I motion that we pay $14,701.80 to be taken from capital outlay reserve. And it needs to be paid by November 30th in order to take advantage of the early payment. It's at a cheaper rate.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Question,
Yeah.
Sure.
do they come out when you call them? Because like they know we have a November election, you set something up prior to that election? How does that work?
They reach out to us a lot of times, but anytime we have problems and have had to call them, we've actually had to get a hold of them sometimes on election day, and
Okay.
they're right here.
Okay.
So they're very good to work with. And I had to send one back. It wasn't working correctly. And I mean, I had it back and it worked just fine. So,
Any other questions? Not, Patty made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, okay. And Danielle, would you take roll call on that?
Patty Mack,
yes.
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Jean Lozarelli.
Yes.
Dr. Palmer.
Yes, okay. Now, under new business, we got a notice with this ARP money ARPA money that's coming down from the federal government that we had to do a federal procurement conflict of interest policy as part of it in order to be able to receive the money. It's basically, if you look at the attachment, it's just saying you don't deal with friends and relatives on this stuff. And so I'm suggesting that we approve the language for the federal procurement policy, conflict of interest policy as submitted for the ability to take on ARPA funds. When we finally find out what they actually are and what we can actually buy with them,
All right.
which is still a bit of a mystery. Okay, that's my motion. Is there a second?
I'll support it.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, there's no money right now, so I think we can do this by a roll call vote. Or excuse me, by a acclamation vote. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. In case anybody's listening and wondering, this ARPA money that's coming down from the federal government, we think is just under $600,000 for Groveland, but they really haven't said exactly what you can use it for. We thought most of this was infrastructure things like sewers and water, but we're not at all sure of that basically on what they're saying. So there's just been a lot of discussions, and Janelle has been sitting in on the classes for us. I've told her to see if it's possible, if there's any way we can manage to get a couple of new ambulances for the fire department would be great. But we don't know yet. And they keep on giving the information in bits and pieces. So we'll keep you informed of that as we get closer when we see what we can actually do with it. Especially you, Chief. I'll let you know. That's why we had the discussion earlier today.
He would like that.
Okay.
So would we.
Okay, discuss municipal credits, Patty?
Yes, this is annual. SMART gives money to the communities, and what we always do with ours is we approve it to go to Groveland Township Senior Center, and I believe it's actually the Village of Holly Senior Center there for their buses. So my motion would be to approve $5,396 to be shared between the senior centers in Ortonville and the Village of Holly for their senior citizen buses.
Okay.
Support that.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, Danielle, if you take a roll call, please.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Jean Lozarelli.
Yes.
Dr. Palmer.
Yes.
Patty Mack.
Yes.
Okay. Next item is discuss the master plan approval at long last. This has been sent out for over the 60 days that everybody had to comment on it. You should have a copy of it that was in the agenda packet, but she didn't print it for everybody because I think we've all seen it 3 or 4 times. And when I looked at it again this morning, the minor changes that we caught at the last PC meeting were all adjusted. There was a little piece of the park that was left out of the overlay district, a couple of things like that. And I see she fixed all of those. And so at this point in time, are there any questions or comments on approving the master plan?
So no feedback from the extending communities?
The only comment we had before is the one I told you about for Springfield, and the last meeting I had with her and George, luncheon last week, it never came up. I told her what we did. I said, I told our board, I told our planning commission, I said we take out the reference to Prairie and
Right.
I forget what the other phrase was, and that we would take their renderings done by their consultant out, and that's the next item on the agenda to talk about that. So nobody has said anything else. I think we're good on all of this. Okay, so if not, I guess at this point in time, just to be safe before we release it, I'd like to ask if there's anybody on the Zoom call that wants to comment on the master plan. This is, as most of you probably know, been taking substantially longer than we thought because of the tremendously bad luck that we had with Ben Tellerico's health, and he passed away, and that's what delayed it. But this is the culmination of all the meetings. There's nothing radical different than we've talked about really from the meeting at the beginning and what the citizens indicated. It's just basically was a few little house cleaning issues on it. And the overlay district is the next thing that we'll be talking about, but this is the master plan itself. So if there's anyone that wants to comment, please indicate so, and we'll let you speak up right now. Is there anything on there? No. Okay, well, if not, then we'll close that part for comment, and I'll ask for approval of the master plan as submitted.
I make a motion that we accept the master plan as revised and as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Gina? Okay. I'm sorry, who?
You, Burton.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Ms. Burton, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I feel bad because I have not been involved in things for years. I was taking care of my husband, who was very ill for many years. So I kind of missed all of the planning on this. And what I really have reservations about developing that corner at Grange and Trip Road, at Grange and Dixie, because I think we are inviting something that we are going to regret later on down the road. If you, I'm really late and a dollar short coming to this, but I mean, I'm looking at the master plan and the overlay and all of that and realizing that this is going to bring in probably what a quiet and rural community does not want. But as I said, I have not been involved. I did not have any idea until now. So
You mean
that's my 2 cents worth. Pardon
well,
me?
just so I understand, you don't want the property developed at all? You just want it left as an empty mine?
I think it needs to be very carefully considered, because what I'm seeing there as shopping and parking lots and bringing more people in is going to, we have just seen what's happening with a lot of traffic coming through our roads and the mayhem that it's caused. And we've seen down in Springfield what happened when properties were developed and then there was a financial downturn, and now we have a bunch of empty storefronts sitting there looking really terrible.
Just so you know, that corner's not proposed to be a high density like shopping mall or center or something of that nature. We're still working on it, and one of the things that's in the development right now is an overlay district to put some strict guidelines to give us more control in what actually goes in there. But it is an old mining site, and I just don't think anybody's going to build homes next to I-75 down in a gravel pit, but there will no doubt be commercial development in there, but most of it hasn't actually been allocated or designed yet. It's just in the overlay district, so that when we do, we would have the ability to put much stricter guidelines on what it would look like and what would be able to go in there, if that helps alleviate it any for you.
Yes, thank you. That then there is still a chance for me to stick my foot in. Okay. Stick my beak. Okay, thank you. Yes, I've not been involved for a long time. I've been dealing with issues, and now I'm going to be more involved. But thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
That's good. Okay, if you have questions in the future, by the way, don't hesitate to call. We're happy to discuss it with you.
Okay, great.
Look at page 46 in the packet, right?
46,
Okay.
yes.
You'll see, it says no big box stores, no, there's a lot of things in there that the community said they didn't want it, and that's included in the plan, so that we stay very aware and on top of that.
In fact, several of the pages later on in there are the the synopsis
Right.
of just about
Right.
all the public comments. So when it's printed up, you know, or even if you want to look at it online, I mean,
Right.
you know, you can see in more detail what everybody said and how this, I think, actually fits pretty well with all of it. But thank you for your comments. Okay, Jim, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was curious, what corner was Eve talking about?
I think you were talking about Grange Hall and Dixie, right?
So was that
Correct,
corner-
yes.
Farmer
Where the
Nick's
barn
property.
is, or was.
The collapsing
And
barn.
there's, yeah, well,
Thanks, Eve.
that's the other thing. I
Yeah.
got to talk to the contractor tomorrow. We're waiting for Edison to pull the electric service, just so you know, on that little fruit stand out front, because the roof's falling in there. And the contractor, I've talked to him 3 times. He's doing the barn and the fruit stand at the same time. He's just waiting for the Edison to confirm that they killed the power to the building. The power? Yeah, that's why I got to call Dale back and find out what did they give him for a date. I know, and that's when he said he was getting both of them. Okay. Any other questions? Jim? Okay, if there's no other questions, then a motion is in order in a second. I think, did you make them? You made the motion?
Jim
And
motioned.
Gina, you seconded it? Okay, well, let's do it on a roll call, even though it's not money, okay? Danielle?
Roll call, Chair. Gina Musarelli?
Yes.
Scott Sakama?
Yes.
Andy Beck?
Yes.
Jim Christopher?
Yes.
It's almost anticlimactic after 4 or 5 years, isn't it? Okay, thank you, everybody. It was a good effort by everybody in the township. These next items are 2 things that came up. You know, now that the master plan is done, the second part of that is doing the overlay district, which is designed to give us more control over larger pieces of property in the overlay district, so that we can make sure the look and the feel of what we're trying to get in the community is maintained. And I kind of think one of the best examples would be if you look at what happened to the old abandoned building that's on Dixie Highway next to Rush RV that they turned into Holly Power Sports. They just took a really old block building that I know has been sitting at least 40 or 50 years and just a kind of an eyesore, and really rehab that into a very nice facility with stone and a copper roof and landscaping. And that's kind of the concept of what we want to do in the overlay district. So what I've got here is, as I mentioned earlier at the last meeting, Springfield didn't want our overlay district to be exactly the same as theirs, even though early on, George, the supervisor, and Holly and I all thought all 3 of us for the Dixie Byway should be pretty consistent. And I have told George, when we're done, if you want to copy ours, I think that's great. She asked that we not have the exact same thing. So those changes I mentioned earlier, not using the phrase prairie and I forget what the other one is in there, and that their drawings that they paid their consulting firm to draw would be pulled out. And so these next 2 items are really for Beckett Rader, our consultant, to take care of it. The first one is to come up with the additional drawings and architectural features for our overlay district, so we can get that approved and in place for any new developments. And she's given us an estimate for that of $4,000. So I feel very strongly in the spirit of cooperation, I guess, and of course, wanting to get the right look for our stuff. The Planning Commission has a good idea what they want, and my only other charge to them was make sure when you're done that this reflects what you think the community wants. And so I think we should spend this money with Beckett Rader and approve it. And I guess I'll make that motion if somebody wants to second it.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions or comments from anybody? Okay, if not, Danielle, would you take a roll call on that?
Scott Sakama?
Yes.
Andy Beck?
Yes.
Jim Christopher?
Yes.
Gina Musarelli?
Okay, and if I forget, Danielle, tomorrow I signed it. That's for you to send it to Michelle, okay?
Alrighty.
The next one is a similar thing. There's been discussion among, and Jim, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but among the members of the Planning Commission and Jenny Sevigny, the chair, and Danielle, and a number of us have said we think some of our zoning ordinance is a bit difficult to follow. and find, and we work with it every day. So a suggestion was made that we spend the money to go through it and kind of clean it up. It's a couple of things. Part of it is there have been so many changes that a little bit of it's hard to follow. And in addition, some of the references that Danielle uses every day that she gives people for the different setbacks and that had footnote references on them that in the process of codifying the ordinance, they never changed those footnote distances and notices or put them back in. So they're not even there now. And we think we need to have this kind of simplified and streamlined, and it could be fairly involved, but it should make it easier for residents to look at the ordinance, Danielle to use it on a daily basis, and get the discrepancies from a couple of codification processes out of it. So with that, because she gave us an estimate here, the total for it with the public hearings and the updates and the antidote summaries is estimated at $26,000. I know we didn't have this at the beginning of the year, but I can't think of a better thing we can do it on. Jim, if you want to add anything from the planning commission on that?
No, my face was, I was just studying something. No, it's definitely needed. Definitely done in a long time. And I think that'll carry us for many, many years to come.
Okay.
So I'm for it.
So
And I think this is a good time because we've got a guide.
you might get everything in the right sync for it. Danielle, did you want to comment on it? Because I know you were very interested in this.
Yeah, I'm very interested in it. I'm excited for it to be done. Zoning, it says zoning ordinance revision. So is this just for chapter 54 or is this for the whole? Because that's, to me, this reads as just chapter 54, which is that in the schedule of regulations, which I'm fine with.
Well,
Or is it? for
no,
the
she's got the annotated summary. I think that's for the references on your guides that you use
Yeah.
that are wrong.
But is this,
The zoning ordinance update, I think, is more than, where do you get the impression it's just 54?
well, zoning ordinance revision, zoning is chapter 54. In the ordinance book, all of chapter
Right.
54 is zoning. And then there's other chapters in the ordinance book. Those won't be touched just if I'm thinking this,
Oh,
no.
and is that the discussion? I'm just asking, when you were talking to Michelle,
I was under the impression that when we were in the meeting, that it was going to be the whole ordinance, all of the ordinance.
and that's the discussion, that's the
But this to
impression
me
I,
reads zoning ordinance update,
Revision.
okay, well, listen, we need to be sure.
because
I
if this
agree.
is just for
Why don't-
chapter 54. it's
When I get back in the
revision.
office tomorrow after I'm gone in the morning, why don't we call Michelle and table this till next month then? Okay, just to make sure, because I had the same impression you did, that it was the whole thing. Okay, so we'll, if that's okay, we'll table that
Yeah.
till
That's
next
better.
month.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or can you approve it pending
Yeah, that's-
clarification that it is the whole?
Yeah, I'm with
Well-
you on that. If there's
That's why wait
urgency,
another month.
if there's a conditional approval, I'm good with that.
Okay, you want to make that motion?
If I could spit it out, yeah.
I'll word it for you, no worries.
Okay, you're the best. I would like to make a motion that once we have the scope of work clarified, that if it is to your agreement and that of Bob, that we accept this proposal for, I believe it's $26,000 in total.
Mhm.
So if you can paraphrase that, that's my motion.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Okay, and since we're not, well, we could be spending money, so we better take a roll call. on that. Yep.
Excuse me.
Okay, Vic,
Yes.
Joe Christopher,
Yes.
Amy Mazzarelli,
Yes.
Bobby Palmer.
Yes, okay. Okay, next is to discuss the Open Community Health Network resolution. This is one of those things where the county just asks us to adopt a resolution to show support for mental health services for people. So with that, you have the documents in front of you. I would like to propose that we adopt, and I think it's, what is it?
OCHN.
Pardon me?
OCHN network.
Yeah, but it usually asks for it to be what month?
Oh, no, this
No,
is,
this one's just
yeah,
a-
this is a broad thing and
Broad,
letting
okay, just to
people,
do it, yeah.
letting Oakland Community County members know where they can get
Yeah,
services.
I got it mixed
what
up with the one they
insurances
sent
they-
today,
Yeah,
that's
it's not
next
the-
month. Okay, okay. So do we want to do a resolution to adopt this? Do we want to approve this resolution to adopt it?
Sure, I will make a motion to support that we support Oakland County Community Health Network in its outreach efforts to the constituents of Groveland and Oakland County.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Miscellaneous reports, first one was Holly Youth Assistance, Patty.
Holly Youth Assistance, they've got, they have a golf outing going on
Is that this one?
Saturday, September 11th, yep, 2021. If you're interested, we have flyers here in the office. I'll see to it gets put on the Facebook page and on our web page. And registration is due by August 23rd. And there's also, they're looking for sponsors for different levels. This will also be on the Facebook page and the website. They discussed at their August 5th meeting, school supply program and a euchre fundraiser. As of right now, I don't have any definite information on any dates or how that's going or what they're looking for. Just a reminder, the Holly Car Show is still going on Wednesdays, 5:30 to 8:30. And, oh, yes, we did, didn't we? So that's what's going on with Holly Youth Assistance.
Okay, did you want to also cover?
Yeah.
Brandon Groveland Youth?
Brandon Groveland Youth Assistance, Teresa is the representative for us at this time. And with her not being here, tomorrow's a meeting. Tomorrow's their meeting at 11 a.m. So they asked I attend, so I'll be seeing what's going on then. Bring it up to date.
Okay.
We need to go backwards a little bit and discuss the Oakland
Oh,
University.
I'm sorry, that's right. We added it as G and I missed it. I apologize.
I did too. I even wrote it in there. Anyway, yeah, so this is for the board members. Oakland University is where the August 19th, 2021 at 2:30, the Oakland County Chapter MTA networking event's going to be. And all it does say is tour.
Yeah, and it's $20 a head, so we have to let them know. I
It
guess.
is $20 each.
I talked to Teresa on this morning. She thinks they'll send something when we get closer on what they actually intend to cover. It's up to the rest of you, but I really don't know that I feel there's much value to go just to sit around and chit chat with the same people we talk to every month. Or
I'm
so.
not able to go that afternoon.
I'll go if they send something that sounds like there's going to be a
Sure.
meaningful
That makes
agenda
sense.
item. So could we approve it subject to deciding if we want to go when we get closer?
Subject to the agenda.
Because she said she thinks that'll be coming out next week, and I just don't want to do it before then.
And Bob, what are we approving?
Well, it's
This
$20
is
a head to
the
go to.
Oakland County
For-
MTA chapter. I laid one down there.
No, I've got it. I just-
Oh, you did have it?
I just
Okay.
thought that if I went.
Yeah, this
Well,
just
normally
came
they
in
set
this
the township
afternoon.
pays for it
I
because it's township
printed
business,
it
but-
off. Other than that, all I had was what date it was, so. So,
And I know I can't go either. I'll be in
So
Grand
you
Rapids.
can't
I'm not
go,
able
Patty's
to
not
go.
going. I think Teresa plans to go. She wants to see what the agenda is, the same as I do, and Jim, you're
I would
going.
like to go.
So can we just approve for up to 3, and then we'll let you know when we see what the agenda is? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, that's my motion for up to 3. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, Danielle, would you take a roll call?
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Jean Lizarelli,
Yes.
Dr. Palma,
Yes.
Katie Anderson.
yes,
I'm hoping by then maybe somebody will have something on how that ARP money can actually be used. That would make it very worthwhile to go to, okay? So, let me mark this up here. Okay, next item, Planning Commission. Jim, did you have anything you wanted to cover?
Very, very little. We hashed it over. The planning commission approved and sent to the board the the revisions that we approved today. That was a component of it. And the only other note that I have, and Bob, you were there, I need some clarification. Did we approve the car show at Mount Holly?
Well, the township board approved it.
Then I'm mixing me.
Yeah, you are, because we don't have anything to do with it, really. We actually do it kind of through Oakland County, who's the one who rents the parking lot. And then it's,
Talking about the Ford Fest?
no, not the Fort Fest, the actual Dixie Byway car show. We're going to get back to doing that, and it's really the Chamber of Commerce in Holly does most of it. Here at the board meeting, we approved renting the stage again. They kind of take care of doing all the rest of the sponsors and the money for it. We're just waiting. I'll cover that in a minute on mine.
I had, the way I keep my notes, I had it on the wrong side. So essentially, the planning commission, just to rehash, we approved and sent to the board what was approved today on the master plan. That's all we have.
Gina, anything on BCA?
Yes, we did have a meeting last month, and we had 2 variances that were requested. Both were denied based on our criteria of there was no exceptional things about the property that would allow us to grant those variances.
Okay, good. Supervisors, the only thing I'm going to report on this month is I did have a meeting with Eagle, which is the new name, for the DEQ. And the developer and people from Oakland County Water Resources for that first PUD that we're doing. And it actually went very well. I got to tell you, it's the first time I've gone way to the back of that 40 acres. And there is a beautiful pond there that somebody made with a homemade dam years ago. Never had it approved, but now that it's there and it's got lily pads and a beaver lives in it and ducks land on it and all that stuff, Eagle says you can't take it away.
Right.
And so I was there mostly because I know some of the residents, when we had the meetings here with the developer, were concerned that somehow it might flood them. But the Eagle guy was very comprehensive, I thought, in the way he looked at it. Here's what happened. We think somebody who owned that property in the past was a duck hunter. He dammed it up with a bunch of cinder blocks. So I'm gonna make a pond so the ducks land here. And what happens when the water, and then he decided, apparently, because this is all done without permits from what we could tell, he put a PVC pipe for an overflow spill on it and set it where he thought it should go. Well, and a beaver moved in there. And so, beavers for a living kind of plug them holes up on dams, right?
They don't get permits.
And they don't get permits either. And so they plugged up the pipe, and last spring, the water went up a foot or 2 on the pond. And I think it was starting to flood some of the houses at the end of Bavarian Woods where there's a pond and stuff. Well, the guy went in there, somehow cleaned it out, but as we all said there, that's what the beavers do for a living. So they're going to fill it in again. So what Eagle said is, we want the pond right at the level it is right now, not higher, not lower. And you can see it's down probably, I think, 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet from where it used to be. But it's a very pretty pond. And he said, so when the developer gets ready to run his road back where the trail goes over an old rickety bridge now, they said, you're going to have to get one of those concrete bunkers that's like 12 feet wide so the fire trucks can get over it, 4 feet tall and about 8 feet long, to put in there to control the height of that pond exactly where it is. And they told him he had to get an environmental hydrologist study for the property too, which I think is going to cost him about 15 grand. But it's all to make sure that it's supposed to be where it is right now and it stays that way. And the developer was very accommodative. He said, that's what you want, this is what we'll do.
He has been.
And one of the things he talked about is, he's not sure, but he was suggesting that maybe, because the pond is so nice, that piece of the property that's back there, instead of putting more storage units like he showed on the first drawing, he was considering putting 15 or 20 3-bedroom condos back there, because he thinks they would sell very well. And I actually think they would. You clear some of the other brush out of there overlooking the pond, it'd be beautiful. It's a very nice pond. So we'll see what happens after the hydrology study and that comes back. But I just wanted you to know I went to the meeting, I asked the questions for the residents that were concerned about the flooding, and I don't see any way it could. It should make it significantly better, because the real problem last time it got high was because the beaver filled the pipe in, and they're not getting rid of the beavers. So. Okay, so that's kind of what happened on that meeting. That was on I think it was a Friday or Saturday we were there. The attorney does have all of the research documents I got for different kinds of marijuana growing facilities to try and deal with two issues. One, the possibility of allowing the Class C growers in the township where they won't bother anybody. And the second part of it is to see if we can curtail what we think are a bunch of people that are growing marijuana in large quantities illegally. And so I gave him all the information that Jerry, our ordinance officer, had given me, and we talked to Will together, told him I want to attack both things. You know, I want to, for the ones that are doing it the right way, like Lake Orion, I want to see if we can garner some of those fees and revenues. And for the ones that aren't doing what they're supposed to do, we want to find ways to curtail. We have people saying they're growing 72 plants that come in here and tell Danielle they need 25 tons of air conditioning. 25 tons, right?
If they have enough power at their site?
No, they end up putting 350 amp services on the buildings to try and operate it. So our building inspector, Ken, and I have kind of said, you know, there's a whole lot of other issues that need to be done. You make sure all these other things are done, and we're going to try and address this through the ordinances, because there have been some decisions that were made and a precedent set that basically says a municipality, while it may be legal to grow, it can determine where they want it grown and under what conditions. So that's all with Will right now. We're waiting to see what we get out of that.
So if I understand it right, it was a little bit beyond me. They come in for a permit.
Yes. They generally buy a house that's been for sale for a while and empty. And the house usually has a big barn in the back. Would you agree, Danielle?
So,
And then they come in and say, I need an electrical permit for my barn for 350 amps. And they want to put 20 or 25 tons of air conditioning in it.
okay, so kind of being blunt, so is that kind of stupid on their part?
Well, they all say, oh, that's all it takes. It's all for growing 72 plants. But Jerry has told us, our ordinance officer, he knows people in the Lapeer area that grow 72 plants in their basement, don't even up the electric box.
That's what I would think.
So it's clearly in
Okay, I get
excess,
it.
yes.
I get it now, thanks.
It's a flag.
Yeah, it's a flag. But plus, there's not that much current left in the township. Okay, that's more than you would put in typically for a new house. This is enough to do 2 houses.
350 amps, it's
Yeah.
a big house.
A very big house. So anyway, that's all with the attorney right now. When we get something, we'll bring it back for public hearing. And then the car show is on. The last discussion we had, we might shift the hour a little bit for starting, because a church down in Springfield seems to be in favor of letting us start from their parking lot and then cruise up to the Mount Holly parking lot. And they may do like a breakfast fundraiser or something. So George is working with the chamber to finish the flyer. When he gets it, I'll bring some up here. I'll take some car shows, and we'll see if we can make this go.
Do we have a
for us.
date on that?
Yeah, it's October the 9th. It's probably going to be the car show from 10 till 2. And I think we think there's going to be the pancake breakfast at the church from maybe like 8:30 till 9:30. And then that gives everybody enough time to cruise up in unison up to Mount Holly for the show. So this one, we're going to try and do it a little bit, better. We're going to have a couple of food vendors there that didn't show up last time and didn't call, so they're taking care of all of that. George is getting it finalized. When I have it, I'll bring it in. And like I said, I'll take some of the car shows to get it around, but it should be pretty good. I did go to the Flaming Pistons Car Club and told them about it. So they got a heads up, but I'll go back and talk to them again when we get it finalized with the flyers and see how many we can get. Because we saved the list for all the emails, phone numbers, and that we have. We could probably hit most of those people up again. I think that's really the group that helped make it a success for us. So that's all I have for supervisor's report. Patty, did you want to report anything else?
Yeah, well, we're gonna have an election on November 2nd for it'll only be for Brandon schools. It's for a bond proposal. So we'll just keep you updated on that. And if you want to vote, you can get an AV ballot. You have to call the office here and request it or come in, and we'll give you the application to fill out. And we'll keep you informed on that. And other than that,
And Station 2.
we are talking about, yes, voting only at Station 2. So anybody who votes for in Brandon Schools that votes here at Precinct 1, we'll be sending a postcard to send you to Precinct 3, which is Station 2, which is always confusing, but we'll send you a postcard. It'll be later, more towards the,
That'll be a good
Yeah.
chance, if that's it, for you to put the new ladder truck there with the flag on it, so people don't forget when they're driving by, they can vote.
So say too, have it as the car show so that you can film from high.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Oh, wow.
One of the
You don't
things,
need a drone.
one of the things we're thinking of doing too is everybody that gets in on the cruise, I forgot to mention this, we're gonna have somebody taking digital photos when they pull in for the cruise for the first time, and then we'll put them up on our website. But that ladder truck there would be a great idea.
We have the drone too. so
Yeah.
we can also use that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, great
And
idea.
then the absent voting counting board will still be here in the township, so keep your eye on the Facebook page, the website, the sign, we'll be letting you know. Any questions, give us a call, Janelle or I are happy to answer them.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, and Teresa just asked me to remind everybody that if you need a deferment on your tax bill, September the 14th is the last day to apply for a deferment on your tax bill. And it's also the last day to pay taxes. So
What is it?
With
so September 14th is the last day to apply for a deferment, excuse me, on your property tax bill. And it's also the last day to pay taxes.
Without penalty or.
Without, yeah, I'm sorry,
interest.
without penalty.
Let me finish this.
Thank you. We do it all the time anyway.
Mostly.
Okay, so with that, I have nothing else. At this point, I'll open it to public comment. Are there any questions from anybody that's on Zoom? Can you see if anyone's on there, Danielle?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, who is it? Who is that that said yes?
Leanne.
Oh, Eve.
Dan?
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
Eve Burton?
also, yep.
Okay, well, who said that? I'm sorry, I can't see it from here, but who said that first?
Leanne has no questions, it's just Eve.
Okay,
Okay.
Eve, it's
Oh.
the floor.
Okay. I hope you can't hear my treadmill in the background. There, I'll turn it off. So I'm probably the only person who experiences this, and I'm wondering what can be done or what is being done to control the traffic at Grange Hall, where it makes the turn from coming down the big hill and then going south on Grange Hall. I'm right at the corner there, and people, as they make the turn, they slow down and then they gun their engines, and it's the most horrible sound. It goes all day and pretty much into 1 a.m, and they gun it from the corner of Tripp and Grange all the way past my house and up past the Fords, and that's probably where I can stop hearing it. I mean, I do have a decibelometer on my phone, and I'm actually going to spend a few days trying to track it, the speed and the decibels, because these people are totally out of control, and it's motorcycles, trucks, cars, you name it. I've ceased being, I'm not going to complain about the double bottomed gravel trucks, as I know they're on a project and that's temporary, but this is out of control and it's dangerous.
The same thing happens on Groveland Road when people turn off of M15 onto Groveland. And the problem, when you turn off of M15 onto Groveland, you have to go uphill first before you can go down the road. And so people tend to step on it harder than they normally would. And I've had people there say the same thing. I understand what you're saying. I just honestly don't know any way to fix that.
So we can't get MSP to police that corner, not every day, all the time, but start stopping people.
If they're not speeding, there's nothing
Oh, they're
they
speeding.
can do.
They're going at least 60 by the time they get past my house, if not 70. I mean, they are gunning it. This is, Chargers and motorcycles, and it's like a route that they're doing.
If you can document a similar car or person that's doing it at a certain times, like if it's, for example, if it's the one I use, because this has happened in the past, it's a kid coming by in a blue pickup truck every day at 3 o'clock that does it, and he's speeding. We can go to the state police and ask them if they're got a day when they're not swamped, if they can go there and park for a while. In fact, they might end up parking in your driveway. I've had them do that at my house. But unless we can narrow it down to kind of certain vehicles or certain times of the day, it's real hard to get it to be corrected.
Okay,
So taking a log, that will help.
okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope, I will go out and be Eve the cop.
Okay. You're not alone. This happens a lot.
No, I know
Okay,
it's,
with
it's,
that-
it's everywhere, yeah.
With that, there's if there's no other public comment, we can make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll support.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, we're adjourned. We're reconvened. Chief Mason, the meeting is yours and we're all here.
Thank you. I sent out 2 different incident breakdown sheets this time. One is for a monthly for July, the other one is year-to-date. That's why there's 2 different ones. We had 88 calls for July, 84 calls last year, 100 calls the year before. So we're right in the same number for the month. And then for the year so far, we've had 612 calls. So you can see that's better than the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We had the
Better than the last 2 years, you mean?
2 years, yeah. We had pumps tested on the engines, the 4 engines, tanker 1 and the ladder, and they all passed the pump test. We did have a problem on engine 3 where the valve that goes from pressure to volume wasn't operating, but it's in volume, which is where we want it, and he passed it. We just have to fix that and let him know when we fix it, and he'll send us all the paperwork. He did say that the ladder pump was very good, and it only had 107 hours on it, and Captain Williams and myself and the crews, we ran it the week before for about 3 hours. And
I gotta say, that ladder truck you bought, that's like buying a mint old car
That was-
with no miles on it.
that is a beautiful truck. We're
Yeah.
fighting out whose baby that's going to be. Speaking of that, we took Captain Williams and crew took off all the decals, and we're getting ready to relabel it. The Calypso came out today to do some repairs on E1, and hopefully he looked at it, but I didn't talk to him. We installed a backup camera on the ladder, and we're looking to install a pan tilt zoom underneath the platform, wirelessly remoted to a tablet. So incident command on the ground can look and see what's going on, and we think relatively cheaply we can add a
Yeah,
camera.
that stuff's come way down in cost too.
Yeah, I was telling him, maybe we'll just stick a drone up there, screw it to the but I was kidding. So I think that would be helpful. 41 is still down. We brought the mechanic from Mad Diesel out. He thinks one of the injectors is dumping fuel into the cylinder, and that's why it won't even turn over. So
Out of curiosity, when that happens, does he try pulling the plug and seeing if it'll crank over then? Because if it's hydraulic line, yeah, but it's still got a glow plug in it, right?
But what they
It'll
usually
open
do
up
is
the combustion chamber.
they'll pull, don't forget, you can't get in there. very
Okay.
well. So, I mean, rather than, that's what he'd have to do, obviously, to
Yeah.
figure out which one it is, but without spending any money to figure out what's wrong with it. That's what his analysis was. So he's mentioned, like, to change all the injectors is like $2,500. If he has to change the cups, might be $3,000 because you got to pull the motor out. So we're just gonna let it sit for now and figure out. It's only got 98,000 miles on that truck. It still looks fairly good. So I told him, give me a quote for a replacement motor rather than piecemealing it like we did on the ladder last time. So we're still,
Of course, if he gets a quote for like a long block, it's still not gonna have the injectors on it, right? He'll still have to
Yeah.
fix the injector problem when
But
he takes it up. He
quote
doesn't
would cover all
cover
that.
that. Yeah, okay.
So we're waiting for that quote for that there. Skipping one here, we had another light pack go down. Of course, they're 12 to 15 years old, and I have to admit, they do take a beating. As much as they rolled off the chairs and stuff in the back of the rigs and not broke, I'm pretty impressed with them. Brand new one, as Gina would know, they're probably 40 grand for a new Life Pack 15. I'm not planning on buying anything now, but we did get in touch with Argo. If we got a rebuilt Life Pack 12, it's between $1,800 and $2,300. A Life Pack 15 is about $10,400. So we're not going to buy any now, but if we decide that we need to get another one, since we got a truck down, I don't really need it. I'll come to the board for approval then. And then I'd like to get a motion to hire Heather Key as a paid on call. She lives in the township. She has no training, but she lives off of Dixie Highway at the trailer park. And I interviewed her and she is interested in joining the department. So obviously we sent her to EMT school and fire school and things like that, but she seems like the right attitude and looks like she would make a good addition to our team.
Okay, so we need a motion. Yes, I'll make a motion that we hire Heather Key as a paid on call and subject to her getting her paperwork in, and then she's got to get the puppy shots too, doesn't she?
Yep.
Okay, and the shots.
And the background check.
And the background check that we do. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Patty, second?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Danielle, would you take a roll call?
Gina Mazzarelli,
Yes.
Bob DePalma.
Yes.
Patty Back.
Yes.
Joe Christopher.
Yes.
Good. I'd like to see the people in the neighborhood, in the
Yeah.
community. come to-
The most helpful, obviously, because
Yep.
they could show up and have something big.
Mhm.
I'll be out of town from August 18th through that Sunday. I'm going to a funeral in Florida. Brother-in-law passed away. And Captain Williams obviously be in command then. And I would just like to reiterate, thank the board for supporting us getting that fire truck. We met with everybody down there and every truck they had was just as clean as this one is here. They're an all volunteer department and couldn't be more happy with that.
Yeah, they were
with that
super to
truck.
deal with too.
Captain Williams has gone through it. They had an air leak that he cut some new gaskets for it. And, the air conditioner belt broke off, but when he was fixing that, he found that one of the ears on the mount was cracked. So we switched it. I mean, it's just minor things right now. There's a few other upgrades we want to do to it, but
What do you think that truck was new?
I know what it was. It was $750,000 in 1997. They spent $1.5 million on a new Pierce to replace it. I think, don't quote me on it, I think it was 100-foot center. So it's, instead of rear mount, it was mounted in the center. So they're a little bit shorter, more maneuverable, but what a truck.
The next time you think you got bad depreciation on your car when you go to trade it in, look at a fire truck, right?
And they had it up for sale. I think he said for a year. They originally listed it for a little bit over 100 grand. I think it was 109. Then they dropped it to 79. Then they needed the space because they got their new ladder. So they dropped it to 50. And since the estimate to repair that drift that's in the ladder was $7 grand, or $6 to $8 grand, we picked 43,000. I accepted it, but great group of people. I told them if there's anything else for sale, let me know.
And Stacy's the one who found that.
She found it on the internet.
Good job by her.
And Captain Williams and I went down and picked it up. 15 hours to drive back and $510 of diesel, but
Well, what's it, you said it does what, 58 miles an hour?
58 miles. Yeah, we got up to 63 on the long down. That was about it. And of course, my car had problems where the wheel was overheating on the way down there and bad shimmy and everything. So we took that apart when we were there, and we thought it was a wheel bearing going bad. But so we went to AutoZone, got a new wheel hub. It was the wrong one.
I hate when that happens.
It was fine all the way back. So we're still not sure what caused it, but maybe the caliper was locked up. But other than that, we got all the small diameter hose tested. We're working on the large diameter hose, just, a lot of work because that's all heavy stuff. So I'm fabricating some hose rollers for the small diameter out of just steel. And then I'm working on a bought some rollers, basically. I'm gonna make a frame so that we can think of like a dolly where we can put a roll of hose in it, wheel it up to the back of the truck and pick it up rather than, you know, trying to manually move it all the time. So hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier. Just trying to, you know, don't want anyone to get hurt moving all that hose. But and also the guy who did the pump test, he's also sells ambulances, which is what Alpha 7 is. So I asked him to give me a quote. And he says he also thinks he knows somebody who'd be interested in the old ladder. So I said, well,
Really?
yeah. So let me know.
God bless him. Yeah.
So that's all I had. Any
You
questions?
want to give them the community service announcement, what we learned at Gina's house last week?
Oh, change your smoke detectors after 10 years.
Oh, really? They're no
Every
good
one of
after
them's
10?
going off. Chief had to take them down one at a time to figure out what it was, and sure enough, on the back, June 4th, 2011. And trust me, if someone had told me, change them after 10 years, Gina would have remembered something like that.
I didn't know that. I've changed them, but
But it is
and I don't think it's been 10 years, but I didn't know.
All the new ones that I got that are, you know, hardwired with the battery backup, on the package, it does say that now. But I pulled my old warranty stuff out and it wasn't on the old package.
But
Scary.
now that they're all wired together, so
Yeah.
they all go off,
Yeah.
and you have to figure out which one's going off. So we pulled them all out and we figured out, it's actually, I think 2 of them are going
Yeah, it was
off.
too.
And
Well, mine are just battery, but when one goes off, I gotta go around the house trying to figure out which one it is. We go, I heard that thing, I know I did, you know?
well, they're all linked together now, so
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
wakes
say.
everybody up.
I think you have to have them all hardwired down, don't you?
If you have a, you know, newer.
Newer.
And thank you to Jeff.
I'll tell them.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Okay, is that it?
Well, I
Any
just,
questions?
nope, I just want to say this, I got this through email.
Very nice,
Very
thank you.
nice.
I did too.
It was Camp Tamarack, thank you to our fire department
We've done that
for,
for a long time
yep,
now.
helping them out summer, but they sent a nice photo and thank you with it.
If anyone wants to see the new ladder, it's behind Station 2. Come on by. We'd be happy to show you.
I like that idea of bringing it to the car show. That would be great.
We did the ladder last time, but we took some pictures, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
I think we did, I think you did, yeah.
We need to get that lady, I can't remember her name. I think she's got a 62 Buick, but she dresses like Marilyn Monroe at the car show.
So why do you really want
She'd
to?
be perfect. She'd be perfect for the people when they're coming in from the cruise, you know, to take the snapshot with. I'm gonna ask her when I go back. to the
There's a
physical.
pin up there, huh?
Were you asking me? to
Somebody in the
do
audience
that
might
in
know
my
her.
spare
Come on, Danielle.
We just want to make a fun time for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
time?
Okay, if that's it, nothing else, a motion to adjourn would be in order before I get in any more trouble.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, everybody. Okay.
I'm sick of that.